Interesting. So, my name is Winnie, Kamau. I wear many hats. I'm a mother, a sister, an aunt, a grandmother, a daughter, a former diplomat, advocate for mental health issues. I wear many hats, like I said before. That's a little bit about myself. I have one child. He's a student at USIU in his final year, studying international business administration. That's just a little bit about myself. There's a lot about yes, just a little bit about myself. I've worked in all kinds of spheres. I have worked with parastatals in Kenya, worked for parastatal in Kenya, have worked in the export industry, I've worked for NGOs in Somalia, South Sudan. I have worked with the media, the BBC World Service in Nairobi. I worked there for some time. And most recently, I have just returned from a tour of duty, being a diplomat in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where I was working with a regional organization made up of 12 member states around what is known as the Great Lakes of Africa. So that's my last assignment was as a diplomat. So I'm just happy to be back home in Kenya. That's a little bit about myself. Success is many things to many people in many ways. Some people define success with the car that you drive or where you live. That's not success as far as I'm concerned. But for some other people, that is success. My advice to young people is, for example, if you see me driving a nice car, I've been working for the last 30 plus years. You will not expect to get to the point where I'm now driving that car in one step. It's taken me 30 something years to get to where I am. And what I have found with the younger generation is that there is impatience. You have to be patient. Be confident in the process that is developing you, because there are no shortcuts in life. We have seen people take shortcuts and you end up in really tricky situations. We have a lot of get rich quick schemes going around, and they're very lucrative, and the people telling you are very convincing. However, if it is something that you have not put in your hard work in, there is no gratification. Completely, there isn't. So success can be measured in very many different ways. For me, my success is seeing my son grow up. That's a success story for me. But again, it is measured differently. And then again, who measures? Who decides what's the measurement that we're using for success? Who decides what success is? So success is you being content with what you have done with your life up to a certain point. Of course, there are many challenges. And one of the other things that I must tell young people, peer pressure is real. And it doesn't stop at studenthood. It doesn't stop there. You go into adulthood and there's peer pressure. You show up somewhere and everybody's checking. Okay, so they've come. There's peer pressure everywhere. There's competition everywhere. It's basically how you handle it. So success is what makes you feel good and you feel, yes, I have done this successfully. Have I been told to type a letter? I have. Is it good? That for me is success. You gauge yourself, not what other people have to say about it. Be a person of your word. Do not create expectations. Expectations lead to people being disappointed. So if I'm going to meet you today, don't tell me, I'm going to meet you next week, and then next week comes and I don't meet you. Don't do that. I would rather surprise you and say, hi, I'm near the neighborhood. Can I come and say hello? And that's one of the lessons that I've taught my son. I told him, your word Your word is your most valuable currency. I would rather you don't create expectations in people, because people get disappointed. And when you disappoint somebody once, twice, you will not be able to disappoint them a third time, because they will have walked away. So the chance is gone. It's better to surprise someone with something than to create that expectation. Yeah. I think this generation has too much information. We didn't have that kind of information. I tell my son that TV opened at 5 p.m. and closed at 11. Is like, what are you talking about? I mean, right now you have 24-hour TV, 300 channels. We didn't have that kind of information. So we played outside. We came back into the house dirty. You got beaten a little bit by your mom because you brought dirt into her house. We don't do that anymore. Society has changed in such a way that there's a lot of influence from the West, of course, it's there. But we have become more individual than social. There was that saying that a child is brought up by a village. Now, if you touch somebody else's child, there's law. Law is going to deal with you. So it's a conversation that needs to continue happening. There's definitely that disconnect. It's there. We need to speak to one another. I need to be able to speak to you and say, look, whatever you tell me, I'm not going to get angry or whatever it is. However, it is important that even as the young person realizes that you will do something that will completely make me angry. And I have every right to be angry. And just because I'm angry with you does not diminish my relationship with you. And so what's happening now is, when there's a little pressure, people are walking away. That's not what life is. You will find pressures everywhere. So you just have to be able to learn how to deal with the pressures as they come. Seek for help. There is no shame in asking for assistance. That's one of the other things that I've noticed. People don't ask each other for help. So you wallow there, you sit in there, you're depressed, and nobody knows what's going on because you didn't say anything. Because of that expectation that you're supposed to be okay. So how can I then say today I'm not feeling good? So there is that managing of those expectations. Find spaces or find people that you can be vulnerable with, who you can tell, today I'm down here. Somebody who can stop what they're doing to just come and sit with you. That is what we need to really nurture and really work on, especially in our relationships. And COVID has not really helped. A lot of people were in isolation for a very long time. We got very comfortable to be by ourselves. So that connection needs to start happening again. Yeah. I'm not even sure if it's a failure. It's very difficult to define. So you're in society, you get to a certain age, and so you should get married, which is okay, and then you have kids. So I did get married pretty late according to African culture. Got married at 33. Then I had my son when I was 34. And you're like, okay, this goes on. But unfortunately, my marriage broke down when I was 37. So nothing prepares you for that. So that is like, so I have failed in the marriage. So that's like a failure. And society, culturally, there are certain things that are looked at. Oh, her husband left her. You see? So you have to deal with that thing. And then now you're divorced. So there's another tag onto you. Oh, that's a divorcee and all that stuff. So that's like a failure. It's not a favorite failure, but you feel that you have failed in something. But then as life went on, I realized, no, I have not failed, because I was married. I believe marriage is a gift from God. And I also believe that my marriage was not the kind of gift that God would give me. God does not give bad gifts. And after I dealt with that thing, I could now easily, just move on with my life. I've raised my son on my own. His father is around, yes, but not really in his life. And so I don't consider that a failure. But at the time, you feel you failed, but that does not define you. But if you focus on that failure, it will bring you down for sure. It will bring you down. So yeah, some of that stuff. So that's like life teaches you those lessons as you go along. Take a moment and think about who you are and what are your positive traits, and dwell on those. Because there's always a whole list, sit down, write a list. Say, I'm good at this, or I'm not good at this. Why did I fail in this? I wasn't prepared, for example. So then the next time you need to be putting more work to prepare. Just search yourself, because you're the one who knows what went wrong. No one else. Even if somebody told me you did wrong or whatever, if you're not convinced that you did wrong, then it's not a failure, you see? So it is, again, you nurturing yourself and looking at yourself and questioning yourself. That's the only way then you can move to the next step. Please do not get me wrong, it is not easy. It is not an easy thing to do. It takes a while. It takes people understanding where you're at, empathizing with you. But at the same time, it also takes people challenging you out of that space. That's where I was talking about people that you're vulnerable to. So that if you fail, somebody can say, by the way, what was I? You were joking, and you take it well. So you have to sort of like balance off everything. It's not easy, but it is possible. And it's just one day at a time. Focus on the positive stuff, because the negatives are many. And if you focus on those, we will go down for sure. The gift of life. It's a beautiful day. I'm sitting under a jacaranda tree. I'm grateful. I'm one of those people who's a glass half full person. I grab happiness at any moment. That's me. I'm grateful for life, for the experiences that I've been able to go through, the many countries that I have been to. I do not take that for granted. The fact that I'm sitting here with you, I don't take that for granted. So I'm very grateful for every day is a celebration. Every single day that you see is a celebration, not just birthdays and whatever. Every day is special. I'm grateful for that, especially good health. Especially good health. As I'm growing older, things start to crackle and stuff, but I'm grateful for good health. Yes, I read a lot of stuff, a lot of different things, all kinds of stuff. I'm currently reading Kamala Harris's story. It's interesting to read people's stories, just to see how they got to where they are. One of my other favorite books is Wangari Maathai's A Challenge for Africa. That's a good book. That's a good book to read if you like historical books. People read different things. I also read novels once in a while, so nothing wrong with that as well. Yeah, yes, I do that. And I read my newspaper. I like my physical newspaper every day. I hold it up and I read it. What I'm doing now. So I've been back I came back in March, April. I did some work in April. So right now I'm sort of semi-retired. I say semi because I still do a few consultancies. I'm proud that I am one of the mentors for AYLF. I have a mentee that I've been meeting now every month for an hour for the last few months. We have breakfast together. Actually had breakfast with her yesterday. I'm happy about that. I am also volunteering my services to the Chiefs camp in Kilimani and Kileleshwa around mediation and counseling and psychology. So I'm proud of that stuff. And I'm being a mom. I mean, my son's face, he's been living alone. Now there I am. So that's what I'm doing now. Be true to yourself. Be happy. No one can make you happy. Happiness has to start with you. No one. Let someone come and find you happy, but do not expect someone else to make you happy. The joy has to come from within you. That's my parting shot. And every day is a celebration.